السلام عليكم أهلا وسهلا فيكم في الدرس السادس عشر or the session lesson in the Madinah book series. In this lesson, the lesson itself is as a very important but a small and quick concept, and then I'm going to do a quick revision of the stuff we have done until now. So in this lesson, I will skip the the tahadduth or the conversation part. I'm gonna go to the example. So the example that is given here is that أسماء الإشارة للقريب وأسماء الإشارة للبعيد. So عاقل means rational and غير عاقل means irrational, or that uses reason, and the one which does not use reason. So عاقل, to make it simple, is that عاقل, uh, any human beings are referred to as عقلاء or عاقل. عقلاء is the جمع or the plural of عاقل. So whenever we are going to use the عاقل asma, and with the asma ishara, we are going to use the plural صيغة or the plural format with the plural ism. So I know it's getting a bit confusing, but I'm going to explain it with an example. So أسماء إشارة للقريب. هذا طالب. This is a student. هؤلاء طلاب. These are students. ذلك طالب. أولئك طلاب. So very straightforward, and it follows the rules clearly. يعني. هذا طالب, and this is a student. هؤلاء is the plural version of هذا. That's why هؤلاء طلاب. Similarly, هذه طالبة. This is a student which is for female, and هؤلاء طالبات. And these are any female students. تلك طالبة, that is a student for female, and أولئك طالبات. So everything is good up to now. And if I remember correctly, I have referred to this concept in the previous lessons, but I'm going to repeat it again in this lesson too. So طالب and طالبة are of course human beings. So طالب, a student, is a human being, and طالبة is female student, and she's also a human being. So غير عاقل is anything other than human beings. So but any house, inanimate objects, which is books, houses, plants, and animals, anything which are not rational. They can be referred to as غير العاقل. So هذا بيت. Bait means house. هذا بيت, but هذه بيوت. We do not use هؤلاء here. And ذلك بيت, تلك بيوت. So we are going to use the of female version of the أسماء الإشارة in this scenario. So that's it for the عاقل and غير عاقل lesson. And we are going to study this concept in depth further. But for now, you just have to remember that if it's not a human being, you're going to use the feminine version for plural words. هذه أشجار. These are trees. يعني تلك سيارات. تلك سيارات, as it is given in the example below. تلك سيارات. That's it for this lesson, and let's go to the revision part. So the revision part is basically done through this Excel sheet, and so اسماء الإشارة للقريب, or pointer for near objects. هذا masculine, هذه feminine, هؤلاء is جمع, and we just learned the عاقل and غير عاقل concept, so you should know how to use this in with examples. So ذلك تلك examples in practical, in proper situations, and you should know when you should use هذا, and when you should use هؤلاء, and when you should use هذه. And أسماء الإشارة للبعيد, so they follow similar rules as هذا, but يعني the word is pointing for far objects, so ذلك تلك and أولئك. And tools for questioning, أدوات الاستفهام. We have studied, I believe we have studied 5 until now. And mata, if we haven't studied it, then it's okay. I can just explain it to you in a minute. So mata means it can be translated to as when, but only in the interrogative sense. For example, when are you coming? When are you going? When did you go? in these situations, you cannot use when in the middle of the sentence. So the Hamzat al-Istifham, the first the letter in this Adawat al-Istifham cell over here, this is can be translated to as is or are, but only for the interrogative sense, since there is no actual is and are in Arabic. Man is who. Ma has multiple meanings, but it can also mean what. And ma also ma or maza, mata. And aina, aina means where. Mata means when. And that the ta'rif or al, it's a tool for defining means, and it's an article which can mean the. And it's an article in English, of course, which means the. And it is used when we are defining and when we are pointing out one particular thing, which is the same concept in English too. Tanween. Tanween is the dhammatan, fathatan, or kasratan at the end of the word, and it can be translated to in English as the articles a or an. Huruf al-atf are conjunctions, and we have studied only one until now, wa. So, and the thing with wa, there are two, the major, the points that you have to remember with wa is that in Arabic, whenever we make a list of objects, for example, I bought a pen, a book, a writing table. So we are going to constantly use wa in it. For example, اشتريت كتابا وقلما ومكتبا. I bought a pen and a notebook and let's say and a chair and a bed. So we are constantly using and. But in English this is not the case. We just put commas. In Arabic we have to put and or the word in between when you're using it. And now the second important thing is that the word is attached to the word next to it. For example, verb bait. So I haven't left any space in between here. And these are the three cases. So a word can be marfu, majroor, or mansoob. So for example, marfu are those words that have a dhamma in the end or dhammatan. Majroor are those words which have a kasra or kasratan, and mansoob are those words which have a fatha, fathatan in the end. Huruf al-jar. Huruf al-jar are those words that render the next ism uh, that make the next ism majroor. So for example, fi, ala, min, ila, bi, di. So fi means in, ala means on, min means from, ila means to, bi means with slash at, bi means belonging to or for. So remember, if you're learning any language, you cannot directly translate stuff into your target or native language, but we can come up with the most possible accurate translation. So fi, ala, min, be so for example fil baiti. So the default case is of course the marfu case, but since we said fi, so it became fil baiti. And now a thing to remember, and of course this revision is, I'm just skimming through this revision, so I may skip some rules. For example, I forgot to add the fact that when you're going to use adat al-ta'rif, the word yani, the tanween is removed from that word. So for example, al-kitabu. It was kitabun, a book, but then if we added al-kitabu. So, and the damar al-munfasil are pronouns. These are the separate pronouns. So in Arabic, we have learned these pronouns, and these are yani, all of them except for huma, which means both, or it's a dual form of the pronoun, but we are going to study this in later lessons. So huwa means he, hiya means she, ana means I, anta means you, but in Arabic pronouns are gender specific, so anta means you, and it's if you're referring to only, or you're talking to only one person, and if he's a if he's a male, and anti is anta but for female, hiya means she, hunna is three or is they, but we have studied the concept of taghrib, and it's exclusively for females. And if there are three or more females, since Arabic has a dual form too, which is to refer to objects or to entities. Antum is the plural of anta, antunna is the plural of anti, and nahnu, which it means we. So Hamzat al-Wasl. Hamzat al-Wasl is a thing on the alif, but in day-to-day Arabic we do not write, we do not type it generally, or we do not see it. So in an easy way to identify out is that if an alif does not have a hamza, if the alif does not have a hamza, then it is then it means that it has the invisible hamza al wasl. So you have to read it in a specific way, and it has specific rules which we have discussed in the previous lessons. For example, wal baitu, we skipped the alif and the concept of the huruf or shamsi. If you have any questions about this, you can ask me in the comments. And harf nida, it's and if you're harf nida basically means you're calling out to someone. So ya Umar, if you're calling out to someone, ya Ali, ya Hamza. So it can be translated into English as O Umar, O Ali, O Hamza. And another important grammatical uh, structure is mudaf and mudaf ilayh. And mudaf ilayh is basically, yani, it can be mudaf ilayh is the, for example, ala kitabi Muhammadin, on Muhammad's book. So it's the possessive kind. It's kind of like the possessive case. So kitabu man, whose book, huwa kitabul mudarris. It is the book. It is the book of the mudarris. It is the book of the mudarris. So mudaf and mudaf ilayh can be translated to as off, or whenever we want to use off in Arabic, we are going to use the mudaf and mudaf ilayh. 2 to 3 important observations are in mudaf and mudaf ilayh. And by the way, these are not all, so you have to refer to the previous lessons. And this is just a quick skim through of the important points in it. So important things in the mudaf and mudaf ilayh are that the mudaf, or so mudaf is basically the first word. So in this case, kitab is the mudaf, and al mudarrisi is the mudaf ilayh. So the mudaf will never have a tanween and will never get the adat al ta'rif, which is al. And the mudaf ilayh will always be majroor, so it will always have a kasra or kasratan, and it can have the adat al ta'rif as given in this example. Some are special mudafs, which we'll study in further detail in the upcoming lessons. So ba'd, so ba'd is a mudaf. So any ism that comes after it will become mudaf ilayh. So ba'd al-kutub, uh, anything like that. So ayu is, which means which, is also uh, a mudaf, and the word ism that comes after is mudaf ilayh. So remember that in these kind of special mudafs, you can also add the damar al-muntasila, so for example, ba'duhum, some of them, and now. So, and you guys should remember that any damar al-muntasila and any damar don't usually or don't have the majroor and marfu and any those cases. They are just the way they are. So there are certain words that do not any change their case. So ad-damai, or the pronouns, are a good example of that, and we have studied this in great detail in every lesson. So we have always studied the stuff that changes and the stuff that does not. And these kind of basic observations can be found out if you solve the exercises and if you solve the exercises. So for feminine, so basically this in this cell I want to describe the fact that how can we identify if the object is feminine or masculine. So if the word ends in a ta marbuta, then in almost all cases it's feminine. And if an object is found in pairs, so in this scenario, if a body part is found, since we have studied only body parts, so if a body part is found in pairs, it is feminine even if we refer to one of it. For example, yad means hand, and every human being has two hands. So if we refer to one hand only, we are still going to refer to it as a feminine object. So for example, هذه يد. This is my hand. And the verb conjugations, or we have learned until now, are the following. So I've used ذهب as an example, but you can use any word, any verb. So I believe we have studied four verbs up till now: رجع, ذهب, خرج, and I forgot جلس. So you can use this for any verb, but for this example I've used ذهب. ذهب means he went. ذهب, he went. ذهبت, when we add the ta with the dhamma, ذهبت is I went. So remember that all the dhamma and kasra and fatha, whatever you find here, has no relation to the marfu and all of that. We're going to study this later. So, but for now, the dhamma, yani ذهبت does not mean it's marfu. Yani it has a separate rules. In short, it has no connection with the rules of the asma. For fail have their own separate rules. In short, you just have to learn these patterns. So ذهب, ذهبت is I went. ذهبت is you went. But if you're if you're talking to or addressing to one male, if you're addressing to one male, ذهبت is she went. ذهبوا is they went. ذهبنا is they went, but for females. ذهبتم is you guys went, so three or more males, or the Toghlib concept. ذهبنا is we went. ذهبتن is for three or more females, exclusively only females. And so, yeah, these words have different rules. So for example, Hamza, Hamza to Usama to Ma'awi. So these words do not get the tanween. These asma, or these, sorry, not naam, the asma, these names do not have the tanween. Similar is the case, same is the case with the, the female proper, any female names. For example, Amina to Zainabu, they do not get the tanween, but male names do get the tanween. Except any male names generally do get the tanween, but Hamza or Muawiyah do not get the tanween since it has a ta marbuta in the end. And an adjective formation, adjective pattern that does not get tanween is Kaslan, Jaw'an, Atshan. So ma and nafiya is basically the ma for negation, or when the ma acts as a negator. So when ma indi sayyara, I don't have a car. These are the model munfasila. Who, which means his, ha means her, ya means mine, ka means yani your, but for male and for one male. Ki is the female version of ka. Hum is there, hunna is there but female exclusively. Kum is yours, any your, but for uh, three or more three or more people. So it could be males and females both. Kunna is exclusively for females. So a better option, a better way to explain it, explain these. Sorry, these are ad-damair al-muttasila. A better way to explain these are if we connect it to the damair al-munfasila. So who is basically the damir al-muttasil for huwa, ha is for hiya, ya is for ana, ka is for anta, ki is for anti, hum is hum, hunna is also hun. Oh, sorry, hunna is also hunna. Kum is for antum, na is for nahnu, kunna is for antunna. Na'at and man'ut. So na'at is adjective, man'ut is the noun, and in Arabic adjective comes after noun. So rajulun kabirun, kabir means big, and rajulun means a man. So Rajulun Kabir, it is directly translated to as man big, because in Arabic adjective comes after noun, and the adjective and the noun follow, yani they follow the same pattern in terms of gender. So if the naat has if the ism has the ta marbuta, then the adjective will have the ta marbuta too. And if the ism, if the, let's say the noun has the adat al-ta'rif or al, so the man'ut will have it too. But all of these concepts we have studied in further detail. So this is just a quick revision for you guys. Ismul Mawsul is alladhi or allati for females. So a way to explain this is could be that, for example, man يعني من هذا الرجل الذي ذهب معك or something like that. So الذي can be translated to which or who in the middle of the sentence. And ma both mean with, but ma is like we have studied this in with examples in the previous lessons too. But and and ma, the difference could be summarized to as an and is, for example, عندي سيارة. It means that I have a car. But if I say معي سيارة, it means that let's say I brought this car over here. I have this car with me right now. بعد means after. I don't know why I wrote it here. These are the al-jam' al-maqsoor. Al-jam' al-maqsoor is a broken plural which does not follow the standard pattern of pluralization in Arabic. And most asma in or most words in Arabic are do not follow this the standard rule. So these are some of the patterns we have studied, and I would never recommend you guys to memorize those patterns. I would just recommend you guys to learn the ism along and memorize the ism along with its rules. For example, if you memorize the word najm for star, then you should know that nujum means stars, and there is no faida of studying the pattern. According to me, this is subjective, but according to me, there is no use of memorizing the patterns, and according to many other Arabic teachers, there is no use. Since the Arabic should come naturally instead of you processing or iterating through the patterns that you have learned. Al-Jam' Salim is the sound plural, and this is like the kind of standard rule for pluralization in Arabic. So Muslimun is an example that follows this rule. Is an ism which follows this rule. So, for example, Muslim is one, Muslimuna is three or more Muslims, and Muslimina is basically the farq between Muslimuna and Muslimina is yani the case farq. So Muslimuna is for marfu' only, and Muslimina is for mansub and mashhur. Muslimatun is the female form, and it will have the Muslimat. So Muslimat is for mansub, majroor, and marfu'. Now that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. If you guys have any queries, you can ask me in comments, or if you guys have any suggestions on how I can improve my comment, then do let me know. مع السلامة.